Hi there, this is Chef Bill at the Culinary Institute of America, and today we're going to talk about two things. One, using up a little bit of chicken you may already have on hand, and two, a great stir fry to make that chicken taste delicious. So that's our plan. Here's the chicken. This is chicken breast. It came from a roasted chicken. You could go to the supermarket and buy a chicken already roasted. The meat was pulled from the carcass, the skin was taken off, and it was just torn into big pieces. This chicken is already cooked, so we don't even have to worry about that. What I have left is the ingredients of my stir fry. It's a vegetable stir fry, a pretty simple one, and it's divided up between aromatics that go into the wok or the saute pan first, ingredients that are used to make a sauce right here, and then ingredients that will be added at the end because they're very aromatic and we want to preserve that aroma. Okay? So let's combine these sauce ingredients. A little bit of chicken stock. This can be canned chicken stock. This is garlic and chili paste, which I love, but you can go light on it if you're not a big fan of hot food. Here is soy sauce. Here is oyster sauce, which has a wonderful savory flavor. And then finally, a little bit of sugar. And one of the important things about stir frying is that once it begins, it happens and unfolds very quickly. So you want to have all of your ingredients ready. What I want to do is taste it and make sure I'm happy with the flavor. Because later on, things will be moving too quickly for me to have the luxury of time to do that. I'm looking for a nice savory flavor, the heat of the chilies, the flavor of the garlic, and then the salt and sweet of soy sauce on one hand and the sugar that I added on the other. On to equipment for a second. I have a saute pan here, and I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. You could use a wok if you had a wok, but if you don't have a wok, sauteing is wok stir frying without a Chinese passport. I can saute or stir fry in this pan just as readily as in a wok. The thing that a wok has going for it, because of its deep shape, it has the tendency to take the food and move it back to the hottest part of the flame again and again and again. So I stir the food, it goes up on the side, and then it tumbles back to the hottest part of the flame. I've got some oil here. You want an oil that can withstand high heat. This, I think, is grapeseed oil, which has a very high smoke point. As soon as I put it into the pan, it's going to begin to creep around, which tells me that the oil is getting hot. That creep in the pan, some people call it the oil smiling at you. It can get just a little bit hotter than that. It'll begin to smoke, and then you need to move forward very, very quickly. So I'm going to throw in these aromatics. This is going to flavor the oil. There goes garlic, and there goes ginger. I'm going to give those a quick stir around. Already they've exploded into fragrance, and I'm going to add the first two of these vegetables. The snow peas cook a little bit more quickly. I'm going to start to toss these in that hot oil, and we're looking for just a little bit of color on the mushrooms in particular. They have a wonderful savory flavor, and that savory flavor really comes to the fore when they begin to brown just a little bit. If things are not burning in the pan, you don't have to keep them constantly moving. In fact, it's a little bit counterproductive to keep them moving around too much. I'm going to take and introduce some of these snow peas now. As I said, they cook a little bit more quickly than the other vegetables. So in China, they would stir the food with a ladle and a spatula. In the French tradition, they toss the food in the pan, and that's why this pan has the sloping sides. In some ways, there's a parallel between stir fry and saute. And just because you don't have a wok, don't think for a second that you're off the hook. You can still stir fry. The next step is to take these sauce ingredients, give them one big stir, and this is going to flavor this stir fry. I want that boiling liquid to flavor and reheat this chicken. And so I'm going to coat the chicken and the vegetables in this flavorful stock. I want that liquid to come to a boil, and when it does, I'm going to thicken it so it clings to this dish. Be a little bit careful that you don't try and thicken it before it boils, because the thickening only takes place above 180 degrees. So you're safe if you're at a boil. If you thicken it when it's too low, you'll add starch, nothing will happen. You'll add starch and nothing will happen. You'll add starch, nothing will happen, and then it comes to a boil and you've got wallpaper paste in your pan. If you have a stove that doesn't have a tremendous amount of heat, you could do this in 2 batches. You could have somebody working here and someone working here. Both of those things would be acceptable. Anyhow, we're just coming up to a boil here right now. The chicken is probably hot, and give this one big stir, and then introduce just a little bit of this cornstarch slurry. The sauce is just thickening up nicely. First, in goes a little sesame oil for its distinctive aroma. Next, we move our food over here, and over the top some green onions, and with a big pot of steaming rice, you've got a quick and easy meal that I think everybody will love.